Yes, this is the Flex Network bringing to you live our impromptu but very promptu morning Sunday slates, sits, starts, reviews. We are finally here, and I am jacked up for football, season-long football with Season Long Says and Flex Shane. Season Long Says, what's going on, brother?
Sunday morning, baby. You wake up, you feel good, you're ready to go. You feel like you have positive juju all over your teams, and by about 1:45, you'll be hating your team and wondering why you drafted all those players. So enjoy this time now, because in about a few hours from now, you're just going to hate your team and hate everything about all your lineups.
Did you just say you would like to express positive juju all over your players?
Yeah. I mean, because that's how it always starts. You feel good. You drafted this great team on paper. It looks good. All your picks, all your research, and before it all goes to shit, I mean, it's a good time of the morning.
It is the best time of the morning, Sunday morning. Yesterday was Christmas Eve, and it is now Christmas Day today.
Woo-wee.
Flex Shane, how are you doing this morning, brother?
Oh my goodness, baby. We went out and we celebrated yesterday about that AB signing by the Patriots. So I'm pretty happy. I'm doing pretty good. I'm pretty excited.
Let's start with the AB talk real quick. Says AB to the Patriots. I mean, I would say just as much of a shocking news tidbit as the Andrew Luck retirement that we got a week ago or a couple weeks ago.
It feels like a lifetime ago, though, doesn't it?
It does.
It was about a week ago, yeah.
Has this not been the most action-packed, news-filled NFL redraft season ever?
Yeah, you know what it is? It's they're both like interesting developments, especially for fantasy. But we've seen the retirement thing happen before. Maybe not like a week before game time. We've seen Barry Sanders retire early. I mean, that was 100 years ago, and we certainly understand it. The whole thing with Antonio Brown, and we can get into it however much or little detail you want, but it's just been I've been loving every minute of it. It's awesome. I own Antonio Brown everywhere, so I went from like, oh my god, I blew a second round pick, to, oh my god, all right, at least he's playing, to, oh my god, I'm not gonna, you're back and forth, and it ended up in the perfect situation. So even as a Jets fan who constantly battles against New England, I like where he went. This will be a real good test to the Patriots culture, and if he could turn it around. But it's going to be exciting either way. I wish he was playing tonight against Pittsburgh. Too bad he's not.
Oh, that would have been so sweet if they had made the signing 2 hours earlier or an hour earlier, because they had to be on the roster by 4 Eastern yesterday to qualify for the game today. So,
wow,
oh man. Yeah,
that would have been just amazing. But you guys, do we know what else is going to be amazing? The beginning week 1 slate of fantasy football and the entire day today. Says, what are we doing here today for our listeners?
Well, we're here to service them. We're here to give out some basic information. Our takes on the games are going to roll through each game by game, talk about the relevant fantasy players. And if anyone has any start sits in between, feel free, put them up on the board. We'll give you our quick opinions. They may differ. They may be in unison. And ultimately, you have to decide and you have to make that decision. We can give you our opinions, but again, at this point, nobody really knows. A lot of these calls are 50-50. Okay, we already got one right here. Look at this. Winston or Wentz. Again, this is a crazy start-sit question because Wentz is obviously the better play, but Winston's in a sick situation with a higher under-over.
Should we go on 3? This is our thing. On 3?
Okay. You want to go on 3?
1.
All right, here's our answer. We're going to give it to you, so try to listen close now. Put your ear to the speaker.
Ear to the speaker.
Okay, count it down.
1, 2, 3. Winston.
Oh, that's all right.
Go ahead,
that's good though.
Why do you pick Wentz?
I wouldn't argue if he went Winston, but the Eagles are I think the Eagles are going to roll today. I'm not even sure Washington's going to get in the end zone, and I think it's going to be by the air. it could be one of those situations where they're up 20-0 in the first quarter, and then of course they'll run the ball. As I said the other day, I
And
thought
Wentz is
Jordan.
out. If they're up 20-0, Wentz
Right,
is
but
out of that game for the rest of the game. That could happen in the first
no,
quarter.
they're not going to
Yeah.
take him out. He's going to play the entire game, no matter
Well, it's
what.
not that he's going to be
willing
out,
take him
but
but they're going to be running the ball.
his projections are going to be.
I'm just saying that they won't take him out before the damage is done. I just see the Eagles are just going to be. A lot of people think that's actually going to be a back and forth game. That's our survivor pick. I would certainly understand why you pick Winston. I just want to see the Bruce Arians offense before I commit to it if I don't have to. So I would go Wentz there. That's the only reason. We know what we're going to get from the Eagles.
And then there's that word. I mean, there's that flu bug that was going around the Tampa Bay locker room apparently. And apparently a lot of the guys, it was just more like a 24-hour bug. As of, I want to say Friday, there were some questions just because Mike Evans had come down with something, but people were optimistic that they were going to be okay for game day. So, I mean, maybe that might be a bit of like a residual thing in the back of your head. But I mean, ultimately, the reason I would go with Winston is because I think just like when we talk about game script, the over-under in this one's only 1.5. It's a 50-point over-under. And I think that it's going to be a lot of back and forth. San Francisco, I mean, they are going to want to, I think they're going to want to unleash Jimmy Garoppolo. They want to show that this guy's not the 5 interceptions in a row in practice. I mean, he did not have a great preseason. So I mean, barring something just catastrophic, I think that it's going to be a pretty high scoring game. And I just like the idea that you're going to be able to high probability of getting points for all 4 quarters versus, I mean, frankly, Philly could have shut down Washington by like the end of the first half, right? They throttle it back, but then again, who knows, right? Maybe Philly wants to send a message that they're going to be legit contenders this year, and they're okay with a blowout. So
do we know why this game is super important to us, boys? Do we remember?
It's our survivor pick.
Well, of course it's a survivor, yeah.
Well, how on tilt will you be if we're in the fourth quarter and we're tied at like 24-24 and it's in the fourth quarter with Washington having the ball with 4 minutes left? How on tilt?
I'm going to be so tilted.
Oh, right here, Didi from TX Eagles says Texas Eagles says Didi Westbrook, Larry Fitz, or Tyler Boyd. No clue who to play in a PPR league. Well, we will help you out, Texas Eagles. And we're not going to. Yeah, we have to go around the horse on this one. Okay, yeah. Go ahead, Shane.
So for me, it's going to be Tyler Boyd, I think. And the main reason for that, I know that the games they're playing against Seattle, but I mean, ultimately, in my opinion, I think that they're going to be throwing the ball a lot because they're going to be behind in this game. I mean, this was the other game that we considered with their survivor picks. And frankly, I think that, minus 9.5 line, they're going to be throwing the ball. And Tyler Boyd's the number 1 receiver in that passing offense. So for me, I would just go with the de facto number 1 in a game that I think you're going to have to throw pretty consistently.
Says?
Yeah, I think Shane said it right. I think Didi is probably a little bit more of an upside play given the matchup. I don't think it would be outrageous to project that Didi gets 10 targets today. Tyler Boyd certainly seems the safest. I'm a little worried about Cincinnati going into Seattle, which is literally the toughest place to play an away game. We don't know much about Zach Taylor, the new Cincinnati's coach offense. He can come out and surprise everybody. He's from the Sean McVay tree. That could be good. That could be bad. We don't know. I would say Didi if you want to get sick with it and go for the upside. But I mean, Tyler Boyd is the logical play.
So here's the thing that you guys don't know.
Here we go.
Okay. Because your boy here, your boy here lives in Seattle, okay, or outside Seattle, okay?
Yeah.
A Hurricane Dorian just swept its way through Seattle last night. Don't know if anybody saw, but I believe they delayed the Washington Husky game literally off of TV. Like, I don't think they even came back out to the field to play the game against Cal last night. There was thunder, lightning, extreme rain, okay? I don't know when they play the Seahawks and the Cincinnati Bengals, but
it's the afternoon game. It's
either way, a cold, frigid, wet field with just slippery antics all over the field. I wouldn't be surprised if there was zero passing game in this game, all fed to the running backs. Chris Carson, Joe Mixon without a lineman, though I'm not too high on. So I'm actually going to go ahead and say Tyler Boyd just because of the touchdown upside, but I actually really like Larry Fitzgerald this week to be a sleeper. Shane and I were going through DFS lineups last night to see if we can hit on a mega throbber, and Larry Fitz was in our GPP lineups just because we believe. Oh, here we go again. 14-team PPR, Albert Wilson or Penny. You can't
put
play.
a bow real quick? Can I just put a bow real
Go
quick
ahead.
on that last
Go
question?
ahead.
Okay, so honestly, like D.D. Westbrook was one of our guys that we had at our flex plays this week. So all three options, frankly, were good. But just to put a bow on why I would be okay with Larry Fitzgerald as well. I mean, it's Kyler Murray's debut at home, and I think that you're going to try to keep things simple, right? This is the point you used last night, Matt, when you suggested we lock in Larry Fitz in a PPR league. You know, he might be the go-to target. I know that we don't want to take too much from the preseason with the lack of usage with Christian Kirk, but old reliable Larry Fitzgerald. I mean, he could be a legit option, but I think for this case, you got to go Tyler Boyd. But that's a good team you got, man. Okay.
Hey, so basically, we didn't help this guy at all. Okay?
No, it's a tough question, but I think we all choose Tyler Boyd. Like, splitting hairs.
I think you know what it is? It's sometimes it's not making the pick for the guy. Sometimes it's walking through our process, and that could send a light off. So a lot of times you don't need to you could pick something, but just walk them through your process, little step by step. Open up your skull, let them see that genius process that you have, and that sometimes will shed light, and because that's what we want to do. We want to teach process. We don't want to make the decision for you. We want to help you make better decisions. That's what we do here.
Well, shit. And I mean, like, you're an Eagles fan, but say, ultimately you've got 3 good plays and you're just a fan of that team. Well, fuck. I mean, fantasy football is supposed to be fun, right? So sometimes if you're splitting hairs and it's pretty even and it's a coin flip, you might as well play the guy you like. So
I was going to say hedge your happiness and do the other one.
That's
or just flex on your league with the most absolute upside mega throbber, because that's what we do.
Hey, look at
Jay Money.
Jay Money's got an ugly one here.
Money, 14-team PPR, Albert Wilson or Rashad Penny. And I'm not going Rashad Penny at all in week 1. Okay. Nope. And here's again why. Chris Carson is a monster. Okay. We saw CJ Prosise in the preseason look really good. They're going to want to get him back involved. Okay. I just don't see a scenario where the number 1 receiver in a FU just FU offense, just slinging the ball all the way across the field. Albert Wilson over Rashad Penny for me. Go ahead, Says. And go ahead, Shane.
Okay. Yeah, no. So, I mean, for those who listened to our podcast earlier this week, we had Christopher Kidd, who has that Seattle Man-to-Man podcast, and we asked him about Rashad Penny, and he said, oof, I wouldn't trust this guy. I mean, he thinks that Chris Carson's going to be the first down back, second down back, and he said they're going to sprinkle in a little bit of that CJ Prosise action on third downs. So until I see it, I am hands off. And frankly, like Albert Wilson, like, they got to throw the ball, right? And we know that Fitzmagic can toss it, can chuck it. He can be brilliant. So I'd go for the upside with Albert Wilson in this one.
Says, what do you got? Albert Wilson or Rashad Penny?
Yeah, it's hands off right now for me with Rashad Penny. I'm going Albert Wilson.
Albert Wilson. Okay, what is this? Skiers 08. In a PPR, he needs a flex. Tevin Coleman, Matt Breida, Latavius Murray, Mike Williams, John Brown. Okay, now here's the thing. Is that Jaron or John? It could be both,
It's
right?
got to be John Brown. Nobody's asking Jaron Brown questions.
It's got to be John Brown. Okay, here's the thing. We're going to separate this up into 2 categories, okay? Running backs and receivers. In the list of the running backs, if you want to get sick, in my eyes, if you want to get real sick, if you want to chase the high upside, it's Matt Breida all the way. Okay. In a game which we just stated was potentially going to be a shootout. Matt Breida listed as number 1 on the depth chart. We talked about this guy before we even got on air. I'm definitely high on Breida. I just think over a Tyler Boyd, I would definitely go Tyler Boyd. But when you're comparing against Tevin Coleman or Lat Murray, the number 2 running backs in a system that aren't necessarily, pass catching backs, I would say Breida over that. Mike Williams, John Brown. Shane, Mike Williams or John Brown? Who do you like there?
Honestly, well, if it's between Mike Williams and John Brown, I'm going Mike Williams. Absolutely.
I think we have to go Mike Williams,
absolutely,
right?
Yeah. I mean, I honestly, I've never been super, super high on Mike Williams. I think that, he's kind of touchdown or bust. But Keenan Allen's always going to be like the number 1 receiving option. Hunter Henry coming back, I think there's going to be an inevitable regression away from those. What was it, 10 touchdowns he got last year? So
here's what I think too, Shane. You probably drafted Mike Williams way ahead of any of the rest of the guys on this list, I think.
I think so too. Yeah.
So I think based off your own draft capital, don't you have to start? So now let's compare Mike Williams and Breida. Okay, one or the other.
Here's for me. Okay, so Mike Williams is the kind of guy that he can probably get you 4 receptions, 40 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Whereas I think Matt Breida is going to, be a solid PPR play, but he's probably going to get you a pretty decent floor. But I don't know that he necessarily has the upside because they've got George Kittle in that offense, who's probably going to be getting the touchdowns. Right? Tevin Coleman is another option to vulture some of those plays. So I mean, honestly, I think you're going to have a headache every single week deciding between like a Tevin Coleman and a Matt Breida. It's nice you got that backfield locked up, but barring some sort of an injury, that's going to be a headache every single week. This might be a point where
he wanted to come back and make sure we knew it was John Brown. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Yes.
It was most likely John Brown.
Yeah.
Shane, I think what we're trying to say is, to put a bow on it, Mike Williams, I think, is a safer pick here with a high floor and a high upside. If you're absolutely going to lose, Shane, if you're projected to lose by 20 points, though, would you still go?
I still think Mike Williams. I think Mike Williams for the upside. Let's do it. Let's fucking flex on our league.
That's it. So Benson.
This one's tough. Oh, sorry. One last question. He was asking about if Julio's going to be 100%. I think he's going to start. Honestly, he's a fucking beast.
I thought he was saying that he is 100% starting Julio Jones. Yes, you're starting Julio Jones this week. Doesn't matter what. He got paid. You're starting him. Stefan Diggs with the injury or Mike Williams in PPR. That's a questionable one.
This one's tough. This one's really tough because you drafted Stefan Diggs. Is probably going to be either your wide receiver 1 or maybe, if you're lucky, your wide receiver 2. And the reality is that this is the kind of guy, he's like one of these sports cards, right? Where when he's healthy and everything's ticking, he's just an absolute insane player on the field and he's going to rack up the fantasy points. But honestly, I mean, this isn't a situation where when he's injured, his production gets severely impacted in the game. And we know that they're going to try to run the ball. So this one's tough. I think that ultimately, if it was my team, I would probably take the safer play and roll with Stefan Diggs because especially in the PPR. But if you're a little bit goosey on it and you want to go for upside, I'm okay with Mike Williams, but I would have to go with Diggs here.
Okay, so here's the answer to that question. Stefan Diggs, if you're somewhat even on your projected. We know we hate projections here at the Flex Network. We hate it, but if you're projected to go even, we keep Stefan Diggs in there. But if you're projected to lose by, I would say even 10 points, I would say you got to put in the healthier option. There also with a game that I'm a little bit thinking could be a shootout. Next decision, PPR wide receiver pick 1, Corey Davis, Marquise Goodwin or Renfro or Ross the third. That's a really nice. That's a deep flex. I'm going Corey Davis. Davis.
Yeah.
That's all day long because he's the number 1 receiver in this offense. He's got a stellar rookie wide receiver coming to push him for limits and times. They're going up against the Browns. I actually think it could be a potential upset game here with the red alert. I think the Titans might be able to beat the Browns this week, and Corey Davis has to be the selection there. Moving on.
The one thing I just mentioned here. So I would choose Corey Davis too. I think that's the safer play, is number one option in that offense. But if you want to get just absolutely filthy, my second choice would have been Marquise Goodwin, simply because he's a speedster and it's going to be a high scoring game, right? Going back to that.
But we love Debo. But we love Debo.
But we love Debo. Yeah.
But we love Debo. Deep dog Debo. If you listen to our previous podcast, right here again, Texas Eagles. One of the weak points on my team is tight end. I have Ebron and Gronk for when
he comes back. I love it. That's a flex. Love it.
I see a lot of hype around Darren Williams. Believe the hype and get him or no. Season Long says,
I'm back. Just so you know, I have a repairman working in my home. That's why I had to dip out. He's still here, so I may have to dip out on you again. But I want to help the people, man. I want to help the people.
Okay, can you please tell us who the repairman is for in the month of September, at the end of the month of September, going into the winter season, marred by Hurricane Dorian? You have a service tech for what, says?
Air conditioning, baby. Air conditioning. It's 90 degrees in Florida.
Air conditioning, because in December, if you didn't want to know, it gets 90 degrees in December in Florida, where Says is. What a guy right here. Who's Darren Williams?
Is he talking about Daryl Williams, maybe?
Or is he talking about Damian Williams, you think?
Or is he talking about Darren Waller? Or is he talking
Darren Waller is probably who you're talking about. And he's basically saying,
that would make sense, because it's a tight end question. Yeah,
I answer all these questions in this cockamamie Slack chat all day, so I know these lunatics that are popping in this thing right here, so I know the common errors that happen, and not that I don't make them myself. I translate this stuff all day.
Do we believe the hype? Let's it's a tight end question, so it's got to be Darren Waller, right? That he's asking about. So I would. Yeah, there you go.
Waller, yes, Darren. Hey, I like Darren Waller. I like him. But I also like Jacoby Brissett, QB1 on the week. What do you guys think?
Man, I would still hang on. I would drop Gronk, right? If this is just a season long, you can't bank on a guy coming
Darren
back.
Waller anyway.
I missed someone asking to hold Gronk.
This is the question.
Yeah, don't hold Gronk. Don't hold Gronk.
No, yeah, I would say drop Gronk, and if you really want to go, and this must be a deep league if you're carrying two tight ends, frankly. But yeah, Darren Waller is a fine stash. What else do they have in Oakland now, man? Like Tyrell Williams isn't going to be the only one catching the ball.
Yeah, it's Waller, Renfro, and Renfro, and Tyrell Williams, and then I think JJ Nelson is there. He's actually hurt today, but somebody's going to get. Listen, Derek Carr is going to throw for 3,800 to 4,400 yards. Somebody's going to get those catches and yards. So one of them, maybe it will be week to week, but somebody's going to be good there. All right, Sony Michel or Austin Eckler, non-PPR. For me, this is Sony. Easy call. Patriots are going to want to run the ball tonight.
Sony Michel, 100% this week. Book it.
Yeah.
What's next?
All right.
I can't
Thanks,
see
Nick.
right now.
Thanks, Nick. That was a good.
Here we go. Big Ben or Phillip Rivers this week?
Okay, this is a good one. Just Big Ben.
Are you ready to go on 3?
Oh, you want to go on? Okay.
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Big Ben.
Yeah.
Big Ben used to have some problems on the road. That kind of went away last year. This is a big game. I see this is going to be a major shootout, in my opinion. If anything, I could see Pittsburgh upsetting New England.
Don't say that. Don't be that guy, Al. Come on now.
Right, but I could see a game in the 40s here.
Yeah.
I want Big Ben. I'm not sure. I really do not like the Chargers today. I think that Indy's going to actually beat them as an underdog. I could see them struggling mighty. A lot of your Charger players going to disappoint. That's just my opinion. I could be totally wrong. I think we all like
we were just touting Mike Williams.
Okay, but listen.
Oops.
Again, a lot of these plays are flex plays.
Yeah.
They are sometimes you have to take the risk for the splash. Okay, that's what you do. That's how you learn how to swim. You don't dive in a 1-inch pool looking to find out how to swim. You dive in the deep end. And sometimes when you dive in the deep end, you drown. Okay.
There you go.
But what I'm saying is, at least diving in the deep end, we have a good enough shot to learn how to swim.
All right.
Here's what I'm saying about Big Ben. Sorry about this. Imagine all the hype about the Patriots right now. Just Antonio Brown, Patriots Super Bowl champions, and then Big Ben just comes and fucking daggers
Listen,
the Patriots. Okay, just throws daggers. Pew pew pew.
you know why the
Juju
Patriots?
for 2, Vance
Matthew.
McDonald for 1. They're up 21 points and just smash on the Patriots and just quiet all the Antonio Brown noise.
The world
That would
is
be
chaotic.
a winner there.
The world is chaotic around the NFL. In that Patriots locker room right now, it's serene. They've got one focus, and that's Sunday night, tonight, beating the Pittsburgh Steelers. Antonio Brown's not on the team as far as they're concerned. That's not noise for them. That's just noise for us. So, I mean, the one thing about Big Ben is that he usually
He comes to play.
in these primetime games, man, especially against the Patriots, you know
Expect 4
he wants to
touchdowns.
beat them. I think Ben all
Expect
the way.
4 touchdowns for Big Ben on.
And frankly,
Is it Monday Night Football?
no, it's tonight, man. It's tonight.
Sunday Night Football.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Okay,
can't
let's
wait to
move on.
watch that game.
Yeah,
Let's
this
move
should
on.
have been the Thursday night game. The Thursday night game
Oof.
was a snoozer.
I know.
Okay, this is Orosco, the guy that had commented before. I gave us the good.
David.
Manuel.
He says flex spot now, Jalen Richard or Marquise Goodwin. I put Corey Davis at wide receiver. Thanks again. I think right there it would be fine. Go ahead.
One of you guys told him to put Corey Davis at wide receiver.
Over Marquise Goodwin and
Ooh.
who was it?
Just so you know, Manuel, I would go
Or
the opposite.
Renfro. No,
I
listen.
like
He can
Goodwin.
basically what he's saying is he can pick 2 of these guys to start. Are we
Yeah.
comfortable starting 2 of them?
Yes.
And who would you go? Says
of the ones that are on the table right now.
yeah.
Okay, then yeah, I got you. I mean, Renfro is just, it's too early to tell. But yeah, I mean, Marquise Goodwin, I'm all in on him today. This Jimmy G loves Goodwin. I mean, when they were both healthy, this was the combo. This is when we were taking Goodwin in the 5th round last year because we're like, this is Jimmy G's guy. He gets hurt, that goes down the toilet. We're back. This is like the combo that we waited for.
That's what we're saying, but we
So
actually,
there you go. Lock him in the flex.
We like Debo too. I'm not to say we don't like Debo. We basically like the entire offense on that field in the game. So give me Goodwin, give me Debo, give me Dante Pettis if you got him. Smoke him if you got him. Throw Kittle right in there and you're happy. But he's just saying that after we go ahead with Goodwin, we're going to pick Corey Davis. That should be the settlement of your team this week, and it's going to be sick. Right here we have a Baker or Winston. QBs have boosted points in his league. Says, who do you got here?
I mean, QBs have boosted points. That means they all get it. I mean, you gotta open up with Baker, right? You gotta. I mean, this is the guy you took early. I know
against Tennessee, though, man, they are a grinding kind of team.
Totally get it, and I agree. It's a tougher matchup, but I'm just going to bet on the talent this year. I'm going to bet on that offensive system. Winston's a great play, but we all agree the floor is very low. Whereas Baker, I believe there's pretty rock solid floor. I think if Baker has a bad day, he gets you 200 yards and 2 touchdowns. If he has a good day, sky's the limit. Winston can have one of those days where he has one TD and a few interceptions. Again, week 1, I'm just going with Baker. I feel better about the ceiling. I feel better about the floor. That would be my take.
Look,
Shane?
my hot take for this one, I think end of the year, we're going to see Jameis Winston's going to outperform Baker Mayfield as a quarterback, like fantasy quarterback. If you want a floor, I would go with Baker. If you want to go upside and win your damn league, I would choose Jameis Winston today. The one thing that would give me pause, a lot of these leagues that have boosted stats for the quarterbacks, they also have boosted penalties for interceptions. So it could be like, I don't know, -2 or -3 for an interception. If that was the case, then I would maybe pivot back to Baker. But, even with these boosted stats, you look at the Tampa Bay quarterbacks last year, and I think when you combine Jameis Winston and Ryan Fitzpatrick, they combined to be about the QB3 last year. I think that they're going to continue. For me, I'm choosing Jameis. We're not really helping you, Ben, but that's my
So
logic.
I disagree. We are helping him. We're giving him thought process. Again, we're opening up our brain. We're getting him into process. What I want to do is I'm trying to tell all these guys in the Slack chat, we want to teach them process so they can make better decisions themselves.
That's right.
We don't
I was going to say, ladies and gentlemen, Alan Seslowski is an educator of our youth. So this is the kind of man that you want. He doesn't want to give you the fish. He wants to teach you how to fish.
Correct.
Hey,
and
I
again,
haven't weighed in on this. Maybe I
Okay,
can be
Matthew-
the tiebreaker
Yeah,
here.
tiebreaker, Matt.
Go Baker. Next.
Oh, damn.
Next.
I'm
Okay,
sorry.
so we have Chris Godwin or Josh Jacobs.
Oh man.
0.15 per rush, 0.20 for receiving, or half point.
Hold on, let me put
PPR.
this in my algorithm real quick. Let me put that. Hold on a second. Okay,
Oh,
I got the
yeah.
answer.
Go ahead, Des. What's
who do you
in
want
your
here?
what produced of your algorithm?
My algorithm produced go with the guy with the better offense, with the higher under over. Okay, Chris Godwin. Now a lot of times when we get these type of wide receiver versus the running back questions, we default to the running back. But I mean, come on, we could all see a situation where week 1, this whole Oakland thing just explodes, and literally they struggle to get 3 points on the board. Whereas we could see an offensive explosion down in San Francisco today with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So I just want to, what's to say? It's got the half point PPR doesn't matter. I could see Godwin just getting loaded up with targets. Godwin,
Okay,
but I would
in the
understand
interest of time, because
quick.
we have a lot of questions coming in here, we're just gonna give if we all agree, we're
Yep.
in. So I'm thinking Chris Godwin, 100%.
Yeah,
what do you think,
do it.
Shane?
Do
Okay,
it.
book
At least until we see it.
T.Y. Hilton or Emmanuel Sanders? For me, 100% Emmanuel Sanders.
Whoa,
I gave my
okay.
reasoning why in our Flex Finder podcast. Go back and listen to it if you want a bigger explanation. I just think that preseason game was telling. He's going to get peppered with targets, and I don't care what type of yardage he has. If he has 7 catches on the day, he's a complete startable asset. Versus the Colts, you just don't know what you're getting right now. And that's why T.Y. Hilton fell in the draft, and that's why it's hard to start him this week. I would go in that situation, Emmanuel Sanders. Agree or disagree?
I disagree.
Disagree.
Okay, go ahead. Great.
Go ahead,
Thank you. That's my perspective.
Yeah, Al, go ahead.
I mean, just
Sell me on T.Y. Hilton.
I mean, he's one of the most dynamic players in the game. He's always a great chance of connecting on a long ball. I think that Shane and I both like Jacoby Brissett. I think this is upset city. I don't dislike. I don't dislike the other player. I don't dislike Emmanuel Sanders, but as Kevin Durant showed you in the NBA Finals, coming back from an Achilles, it just takes one little judder the wrong way, and it could all go south. I want to see it first
Great
from Emmanuel.
point.
I want to see it before. I want to see a full game with Sanders getting through healthy. I could just, I hope it doesn't happen, but I want to. If he gets hurt in the first quarter, you're screwed. I'm going to go with Ty just based until I see it with Sanders.
Well, and then it was just going back to our process about what our opinion was on that Indy offense after Andrew Luck retired, and I think the consensus here was that T.Y. Hilton, yes, he took a hit. But guys like Devin Funchess and Paris Campbell, they pretty much became undraftable, right? And why was that? Because we think that Jacoby Brissett is going to focus on T.Y. Hilton. I think T.Y. Hilton is going to get peppered with the ball. It's a PPR. I mean, he's going to get 8 receptions today.
All right, so there's your process for that one. I say, to me, just pick who you want, or who you like more. All right, next pick. I need a defense to stream this week. I like the Titans. I don't know how much the Titans are, going up against the Browns as a defense that somebody probably doesn't have on their team. I would go the Titans. So who else?
What do you guys think about Detroit against Kyler Murray in his first game?
That's a solid one.
That might be a good one. We know that Kyler's accurate, but at the same time, he's still a rookie. He might make some rookie mistakes, and I could see a pick 6. And I like Detroit.
Yeah, of ones that are left on the waiver wire, I like to pick a good defense that might be in a not so good spot. Indianapolis Colts have a great defense.
Yeah,
they do. They do.
And they're on most waiver wires. I think they're like 10% owned right now. So they're in LA. They're at LA Chargers. That's not really an away game.
Yeah,
they're not
I like
really.
That.
Yeah, so Indy Colts would be, if you're looking on the waiver wire, someone that I would pick up and play right away.
We missed
Damian
TS's
Williams,
question.
Austin Eckler for a flex in PPR from TS. I like Damian Williams this week, just as he was once drafted in the 3rd round, and 2nd round, and
there was So there was a little news blurb this morning that I saw that they're saying LaShawn McCoy is going to get 15 to 20 snaps. I wouldn't be scared. I think that Damian Williams, he's been in the offense all in the offseason. We saw what he was like last year. We know, I don't buy that LaShawn McCoy is going to come in and it's all of a sudden going to become a committee back. Like, look, they wouldn't have cut LaShawn McCoy if he was still the same electric player that he was in previous years, right? I believe he's 34 years old or some ungodly age for a running back. Don't hold me to that. I don't have them in front of me, but I don't buy that Damian Williams is going to take as big of a hit as a lot of people say. I'm rolling with Damian Williams here.
Says shook his head, so I think we're all in agreement there. Sorry, TS, for missing your question, brother.
Won't happen again, TS. We'll never
appreciate you listening. Tough decision, different league, Yahoo PPR. I have Keenan Allen, Tyler Lockett as wide receivers, but for my flex in this league, Kupp, Davis, Goodwin, Sutton, pick one, please. I'm going to go Kupp 100% out of those guys. That game's going to be sick, and I want every piece of it. So if my only share in that game, whenever it is, was Kupp, I'd start him over those guys. What do you think?
Well, I mean,
sorry, go ahead, Shane. Sorry about that.
Well, similar conversation with Emmanuel Sanders, where Cooper Kupp's coming back from the injury. This was a guy that we all loved, I think, in previous years. I pretty much have zero exposure to Cooper Kupp this year, simply because I tend not to draft guys coming off injury. I think it's a policy that we tend to employ unless they absolutely fall to us. That being said, again, all indications are that he is healthy. I still think that he's Jared Goff's favorite receiver. And yeah, out of these guys, I would start Kupp. Al? Oh.
So here's the thing. It is so clear, guys, as you're watching this, that I just like to get super sick with upside in my flex over nothing else. Hey, I don't like to come off the injury, guys. Okay, well, hey, in my flex positions, I like to get sick, okay? Because usually I drafted extremely well, so I'm pretty solid, in my startable positions. It's just that last one where I drafted upside. So I'm gonna play those guys. So my flex position guys are Deebo Samuel and all the guys we've been talking about. Yeah. And today I almost want to get sick with Deebo Samuel over a lot of these guys. I don't know. I just think it could happen. But if it doesn't, I'm fine. My floors are great.
That's why you wouldn't go with Marquise Goodwin?
Yeah.
You heard Des loves him. But I mean, I think that the good play here is Cooper Kupp. I like Courtland Sutton just in general, but honestly, I still don't, until I see it with that offense. I think that Sutton's a guy you want to just stash on your bench for this week at least. Al, do you want to weigh in on this one real quick?
Yeah. This is the same one that was up before. I agree with that Kupp is the best player, but similar to my take on Emmanuel Sanders, I know all the reports have been good about the ACL recovery. It's weird. This thing's right in front of my face. Take the question down for 1 second. There we go. There we go. There's that beautiful. Oh my God.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah, no, but I just want to see it before I play it. I'm a little dubious about Cooper Kupp. I have been all off season. Week 9 ACL tear. Listen, he could have an Adrian Peterson-like recovery, but until I see it, I'm going to bench him where I can. I like Goodwin there to connect with a big one with Jimmy G.
I love that. I'm going to say right here, last question that we're going to take, and then I would say, hey, we're pretty fine. We don't need to chase any more content on this cast. We hit about pretty much everything to go and fire up for the morning football. Last question. Go ahead, Shane.
And by the way, we're going to be here every Sunday doing this. So come back next Sunday, ask your start sits. We're happy to answer them.
All right.
It's early on my time, but I just like to get sick super early.
There you go. Okay, so this one's coming from Benson. He says, would you start Devonta Freeman over Drake or Mac? He said Devontae Adams burned him Thursday night, so he's panicking.
Yes.
I would go Devonta Freeman in this case. Absolutely.
I mean, that's a great call. I just think that I really think that Indy's going to dominate today. I think it's going to be through the offensive line and running the ball. I like Mac, but I certainly understand the Freeman call. I have no problem against it. And you know what? Devontae Adams burned me too. I picked him number 4 overall in one of my drafts, passing on Zeke and Hopkins. So I'm sick with it too. I wish I had that pick back.
Yep. Okay. So wait a second. We just had another one come right in. Sorry. We're going to hit you now. Devontae Freeman or DJ Moore? That's a good question. And I will wait to weigh in as our last question.
All right. For me, it's Devonta Freeman here. I mean, ultimately, when you're deciding on a flex position and you've got a starting running back versus a receiver, we love DJ Moore, but you know how we feel on it. Like Curtis Samuel could maybe be the number 1 receiver in that offense. ultimately, give me the guy that's going to get 20 touches of the ball versus the guy who may get 8 receptions or 10 targets. So for me, that's Devonta Freeman. That's an easy one.
Shane read my brain. I'm in with him. Everything he said.
By the way, you must have a pretty sick team if you've got Devonta Freeman and DJ Moore as a flex question. I love that.
I hope I'm saying his name right, but Varun, this guy obviously knows how to draft. Good point.
Hell yeah. Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
And Varun, if you followed the Flex Network, your more sicker development at that position would have been a Devonta Freeman and a Curtis Samuel, because we would have drafted somebody else other than DJ Moore on the team. But we like DJ Moore. We do.
I think we like DJ
no,
Moore.
we do. I'm just saying, who else could he have gotten and then still gotten a piece of that offense in the sick way? So
Love
again, says you missed the conversation where basically, if you want to go with my guys, it's because you want to get sick in your flex position. And that's what I do. I get sick in my flex position because I've already drafted at a top 3 draft, and I have my floor already built in with good upside and good play. So when I'm actually having to play a flex, I got to get sick, okay? And I chase the upside in that play. But I know a lot of people didn't draft like that in home leagues, not because but maybe their draft super sick and they can go up a different tier because they are elite level drafters. And again, they flexed on their league. So these are tough questions, but I always just want to get sick in that position. So I don't care, but I love your guys' content, and always, it seems like you kind of want to make sure you go for the sure position. And I get that. You're teaching me the ways as we go through this, because again, in our Survivor League picks, I kind of wanted to get sick there too. And you kind of did slow me down and say, hey, we just want to make sure we get through to next week. Winning every week's a big deal. What do you think about that, Seth?
Yeah, no, again, with Survivor, the game of Survivor, you pick one winner a week, no spreads. You want to take the optimal pick because you just don't know who's going to be good, who's going to be bad. More than one favorite is going to lose today. So let's put ourselves in the best position to win. We got a lot of stake in the game here. We got a $25 ticket, but there's about a $2,000 payoff. So we want to make sure that we're not taking senseless risks. We want to make sure we take risks and pivot away from the heavy favorite when it makes sense. Being that the average pool pick was only about 25% of the pool picked the Eagles, we stayed with what we thought was the best play on the board.
I believe that's called risk mitigation.
There you go.
And we're about that at the Flex Network here. Alan Seslowski, where can everybody find you and our content and your content, DFS Army, and go ahead.
Yeah, it's right up on the screen. It's at Alan Seslowski on Twitter. Give me a follow. I'm always in the DFS Army Slack chat, answering questions all day, all night. I don't sleep. I just answer your questions. That's why I'm here. That's my purpose on this earth, is to answer your questions in the Slack chat. And then every Monday night, maybe we're going to do it on Tuesday, but Monday night, Shane Seeley, who's above me on my right, left. Let me see. Shane, you're right there, right? Hi, Shane.
There you go.
Hi, Shane.
Oh,
Hi,
hey.
Shane. How you doing, Shane? We're going to be doing.
High five.
High five, Shane. We're going to be doing a waiver wire podcast where we tell you not only who to pick up, but how much to bid on your waiver wire, which is always a key thing. Who the hell do you pick up?
All right, I want to put this on. This is from Manuel. Yes. So here the thing is, guys, we are not DFS content, or analysts. We don't do DFS. We dabble, but in no way are we
That's
professionals.
the Flex Network.
Right, but we are season long experts, and that's why. And this is the guys that jumped onto this from DFS Army are only sitting right now in the season long channel. That's what I do. I sit in the season long channel. So there is a season long section of DFS Army, and that's where these guys are filtering in from.
That's right. That's why we got this partnership with DFS Army right now, where that's why we're doing these simulcasts. And these are the guys that are going to go and help you win money in DFS. We're going to be the ones that help you win money in your season-long leagues.
Listen to this, guys, okay? We want to redirect every bit of DFS interest in this podcast to DFS Army. Let me tell you guys, we're going to bring on someone from the DFS Army that was a regular guy like you and I, and he won, what was it, says, over like $200,000 on a random fun entry.
Yeah, $250,000, $250,000.
$250,000. So here's the thing, guys. DFS Army is for real. Okay. We will send every bit of knowledge in DFS to these guys because they will help you win.
See it on Twitter all the time with their patrons just
they kill it
their
on
big
Twitter.
wins, they destroy it.
And the geek and how he runs things over there is phenomenal. So follow at DFS Army, and we'll also be redirecting content all year to those guys. But they are awesome, and they will help you win some real money. We're trying to help you flex on your leagues.
Flex.
Throw up the big arm, throw up the crying emoji, laughing. Follow us at the Flex Network. Sealy Shane, where everybody can find you at Sealy_Shane, correct? Yes?
That is correct.
And
Come
we
find
will
us on
be
Twitter.
tweeting all the time. We
Yeah,
have go ahead,
Matt, I was
Seth.
going to say, any of these DFS Army guys listening, tweet at these guys too on Twitter. Shane and Matt, they know a lot about start sit. They know a lot about season-long strategy. It's great to get my opinion in the Slack chat, but these are the two guys I trust the most when it comes to season-long, bouncing my opinions off them. So I highly recommend you follow them on Twitter and ask them questions. They're very generous with their time.
We predicted the Allen Robinson monster. No, it wasn't our prediction, but we put it out there that he was going to go 8 for 100 and a touchdown. He basically went 7 for 100, no touchdown, but of course Trubisky failed us, but still, that was a
You'll
great
take that.
call, great
Great start
play.
to the week.
Hey,
Anyway, go ahead,
lastly,
Seth.
there was just a little bit of news that just came in, and I was just curious of your
go
quick.
ahead,
I want
yes.
your quick reaction for it. As you saw earlier,
Wow,
Adrian Peterson is inactive today. He was a healthy scratch, and it said the veterans in the locker room did not like that. How does this play out? How happy? I mean, we're happy for our Darius Geis shares because I know we're big Darius Geis truthers in here, but the fact that the veterans didn't like that the coaches did that is this a situation to watch?
Are you asking me directly?
I'm asking you both collectively.
I'm saying on my side that they know what pony's going to get them home to finish the
Absolutely.
race. Okay.
This is why
that organization sucks. Okay. And ever since Gruden went there, they have not, they bought Gruden on a high, on a Andy Dalton high. They bought Gruden thinking that Gruden can change their team. And ever since, it has been a slow decline. They got a Darius Geis finally. They have to do what the Giants are doing in rebuild. They have to go ahead and build their team around Geis because it's all they have. Okay.
Well, Dwayne Haskins is going to be good, just not yet.
Yeah, but he's not even starting. So you kind of have to pull back your excitement a little bit on him until he can get in the game, but he's likely on your waiver wires. And you guys are going to talk about getting him on your team here in about a couple weeks. Anyway, the Flex Network 1. Go ahead, Shane. Yes.
No, we got to talk about Darius Geis. This was the guy that we were
Go
on.
ahead. You're right. I'm sorry. I'm just getting sick.
Off season. I mean, listen. So we all play in a listener league for Roster Watch. You guys will go to rosterwatch.com. That's how we all met. So this is kind of the league, like our league of note, let's call it. And Matt flexed, granted it's a keeper, and took Darius Geis, I want to say in round 3 or 4 for one of his picks. So he flexed on Darius Geis, ladies and gentlemen. So we love it for Darius Geis. It's never good. Probably with AP will be on the sidelines giving the stare down to Gruden. So we'll see how much longer he's on the team for.
And how many veterans are even on that team anymore? It's like, geez, they got just nothing but young guys that are unproven. And,
Same thing happened in New Orleans. He griped in week 1 because Kamara got the start, and they cut him loose in week 2.
There you go. Ladies
Flexed.
All right.
At the Flex Network 1. Thank you guys for tuning in and listening. And this is going to be big. We're going to be doing this consistently, rocking content right in the face. We are the Flex Network.